Hey everyone, before we get started, just a quick point of clarification here on this interview. This interview was recorded on May 26th, well before the May 29th acquisition of Wabco by ZF. Just wanted to point that out. You'll hear a lot of Wabco references, but ZF has acquired the company, as I said, on May 29th, 2020. So just wanted to point that out before we get started and enjoy the conversation. Everyone, I am Jason Morgan, editor of Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted, the video interview series that connects you with the top minds. Today I'm speaking with Abe Aon, Wabco North America after sales service and support leader. Abe, how's it going over there? How's the work from home experience treating you?
Well, I would say it's as good as it can be right now. Lots of challenges with a fully remote workforce. I mean, normally we're used to having the field sales out there being remote, but now the full operations from the front end are remote, including our customer care center, which has been a little bit of a challenge. And we're still trying to maintain the actual operations of packaging, kitting, and distribution. So, you know, more challenges than normal. And also, we took back our distribution rights from Meritor in the last couple of months. So you layer that on, and it's been quite a challenge, I will say that.
I appreciate you taking the time. So today we're going to talk about after sales and aftermarket support product. Fleets are hanging on to trucks, trailers, perhaps a little longer. We've seen the recent Class 8 orders that have dipped considerably. We've seen the trailer orders that have dipped considerably. So we're going to talk about the stuff that they can put on their trucks and trailers that are current and that they're currently running to help boost some of that efficiency, productivity, safety. So I'll just start open with that first question. What are, in your view, the top aftermarket installations that are going to boost productivity and efficiency when margins are super thin right now?
I think number one, when you look at it, first is to keep maintaining your assets, right? You need to make sure that you're still replacing parts, and there's a tendency right now to conserve as much as possible, but keeping your vehicles and your assets in top condition and maintaining them is really very, very important now as they begin to age, right? So making sure that you're replacing the parts that need to, you're still continuing with your maintenance, you're doing the diagnostics and any of your checks to make sure that anything needs to be replaced is replaced. And then also WAPCO has a suite of products that enables fleets to be a little bit more efficient from the maintenance perspective, and then also looking at fuel economy as main drivers there. We can get into some safety stuff after that as far as retrofits are concerned, but really you look at our automatic slack adjusters. That's a way they're maintenance free, right? So you can put them on, you can kind of set it and forget it. They do adjust the braking to give you optimal braking. Then you look at our air dryer cartridges. You know, they're all spin-ons. So as opposed to bolt-ons, you have the spin-on conditions, right? Then you go into brake chambers. Wabco has our OEM brake chambers in the market, so you don't have to do any cutting, any modification. You can install them and you can go. So it's saving time from a technician perspective, keeping those vehicles on the road longer. In addition to that, when you look at it, you know, you have a whole support network that we've been developing over the last couple of years with the customer care center to bring as much information as possible into the workshops, into the fleets to be able to service their vehicles to maintain that peak efficiency. So we launched a technical specifications department in the last 2 months. 2 months we have the customer care. It is operating remotely, so our full customer care is on board right now. They're working from home, but they still have all of the tools and everything that they need to be successful, which was kind of a fortunate strategy that we took, going fully remote and being able to connect. So it's all cloud based. So you can make a phone call. It's just like we're in the office. Now there's some other challenges that are part of that as far as the integration, but they're still operating in their standard hours. We still have the full capacity and capability to be able to support our customers with any of their diagnostic or service needs.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask about that later, but you bring it up now, and it's a good point because I know you made the announcement about the expanded product and service platforms at HDAW back when the world was normal and we could see people in real life. I mean, yeah, what in rolling that out? What's I mean, you mentioned a lot here already, but as far as customers that are operating and how they're interacting, did you have to change that plan? Are you doing more of this kind of video conferencing? How are customers like demanding to be interacted with when they can't connect with you in their normal kind of handshake fleet world kind of business?
Yeah, I think that's a big challenge, right? Normally, we like to have person-to-person interaction. We have a very relationship driven business where we talk to people, we have meetings, we go on site, and we're able to support them from that perspective. Right now, we can't do that, right? It's starting to pick back up. We're starting to open up a little bit more. We're taking precautions to be in the office and eventually get back to customer sites. But in all reality, a lot of our customers don't want us to be in their facilities because of the risk. And so video conferencing is a big thing. Phone calls are a big thing. Text messages, WhatsApp, emails, anything is really big. And communication is a really big part of that to be able to support the customer base. On the customer care side, it was pretty impressive how seamless it was because again, we had designed the system to be on the cloud, to be voice over IP. So it was quite simply confirming that all of our technicians had internet access, right? So not everybody had it. So we were able to get them hotspots before we had to shut down. We were doing some preemptive checks where we went through and did dry runs to make sure people could work from home and we didn't have major issues. And ultimately, from that side, we were very, very successful in maintaining operations. And from a call volume perspective, we're still maintaining a pretty good call volume, which is not surprising considering the vehicles are getting older. People are keeping them in their fleets. And we still have a considerable amount of miles being put onto these assets, which still requires the maintenance and service that we would expect.
Right. And something you spoke to going back to the actual aftermarket options and equipment solutions there. I mean, just the time saving, right? Still being able to install those investments and equipment quickly, not take up too much time in the bay and get the trucks and trailers moving. Definitely key in today's market as well, and the service support going into that. One of the interesting aftermarket retrofit kits you do have is the ADAS, right? Advanced Driver
Yeah.
Assistance systems. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Just seems like a cool technology to be able to add to a little older trucks. What are what age of trucks can you add it, and what capabilities do they add to those vehicles?
Yeah, from an ADAS perspective, we really have three kits that we drive towards. It's the on guard, the on lane, and the on side. And on guard is the active braking system platform, right? It brings in crash mitigation to existing assets. And right now we have it on P3 and P4 Cascadias. Those are the ones that we're driving towards. And that's really the spearhead of what we have. We'd like to add additional applications as we move forward, but those are ones where we're able to retrofit product. And that gives an active braking technology. It's not just a crash mitigation warning, it is the active braking technology. On the on-side, we also have the same systems, and that really is a radar-based system that monitors any of the side vehicles that are coming up, right? So we're able to give people some warning as vehicles come up. So on my truck, I have a side warning. So it comes up, I get a light, and I'm able to know if somebody's in my blind spot, right? And that's pretty important. And this is really part of the fleet, let's say, safety efficiency that we're driving towards. So we look at how we can save fuel, we look at how we can save time, and then we look at how we can help to save lives. And I think that that's ultimately critical. Again, as we keep vehicles longer, people want to extend their asset life. And so if you can add those safety features, it becomes really a critical point in keeping those assets longer.
For sure. And I mean, not just the vehicles that we're sharing the road with, but the drivers, truck drivers themselves, right? There's been a big focus, especially with everything going on. Truck drivers still moving essential goods all throughout the pandemic, right? While we're at home, the truck drivers are out there moving every minute. We've seen increased utilization in different segments and different times, even with some of those hours of
Yeah.
service exemptions too. So as you said, I mean, it's a boon being able to add some of that latest safety technology to the existing trucks. I mean, helps the safety side and helps just keep your drivers safe and productive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as we go forward, we've seen the trend where drivers want to have a truck that drives more like a car, right? And those safety features bring that to the driver. So it's really a unique benefit, and it keeps us all safer. Anything that we can do to make trucks safer makes everybody on the road safer, and I think that that's really, really important.
Right, for sure. Going back to it, one quick clarification there on the installation. I mean, is that what the customer care center and the support center helping fleets do? Walk through those installations. Any questions? Give them a call. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, when we talk about ADAS features, we really have a group of companies that we partner with to do the installs because it's extremely critical that the installs are done correctly. So we look at people that we can certify, that we can train in order to have those installs done correctly. And so it's not something that you can just pick up off the shelf and 20 minutes later, all of a sudden you have an OnGuard active system. There is quite a bit of work, especially with OnGuard active, that you need to be sure of. And so the customer care team does support those partners to be able to do the installs, but WABCO has trained those professionals to be able to install them correctly.
I see, and a good differentiator there too, as you know, as fleets that are operating their own service capacities have a long-standing understanding of a lot of the hardware side of things. Moving into some of this technology, it's good to make sure it's working correctly, right? Especially it's safety critical. You don't want to overlook it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Abe, thanks for taking the time to talk today. I appreciate it. Always great catching up and seeing you. And hopefully, we'll be able to get together soon once all this passes.
I hope so. I really do.
All right, Abe. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.